Michael Parekh, founding partner of Disruption Capital, joins us now. Before starting his own firm, Michael founded Goldman Sachs' internet research business. So in short, he surely knows what he is talking about. Michael, welcome.
Good to be here.
NYC. Great to have you in town. I want to start with Apple.
Sure.
The Apple Watch launched to so much fanfare. Everyone was talking about it, but we have already seen sales drop 90%.
By one survey that had certain biases.
Well, then I guess you're about to say you love that Apple Watch.
Well, I would say this is one of the reasons why a case can be made why companies need to be private than public. Apple Watch, there are a lot of great innovations happening today, and Apple Watch is the beginning, the very beginning of something that that could be a very interesting platform, but it can't be measured quarter by quarter. So even if Apple Watch sales was zero, which I don't expect in this quarter, it's really...
They're not zero because you've got one.
I've got one, so and there have been a couple, and we've been actually monitoring other statistics in terms of number of people making appointments to look and try the Apple Watch, etc. There's a lot of experimentation going on. The key thing on the Apple Watch is this is version 1. There's a trifecta of operating system upgrades coming from Apple this fall. And everyone's going to be excited about macOS El Capitan and iOS 9, but Apple has the fastest upgrade on an OS on any of their platforms with Watch 2. And one of the reasons Watch 2 is, two reasons Watch 2 is very important. Number one, it's got a whole new, it runs without the iPhone. So the apps will run on the watch. That gives a lot of flexibility for app developers. Facebook, Twitter, etc. can create cool apps using the new software developer kit. So what I'm saying is Apple Watch, let's look at this next year in terms of, and then that's the minimum time metric to look at in terms of sales and reception.
Okay, so what does an investor do then? If you think that Apple Watch is an important part of the Apple story, but you can't evaluate it, what do?
We look at the whole picture. We look at all the products and
so forget about Apple Watch?
No. Apple Watch is important, but there's a lot of legs in the current products. I mean, we've got iPhone sales. You know, the pre-quarter. I know it's boring.
No. But you've got to be able to break it up into some of the parts. You say the iPhone is worth this much to Apple. The iPad is worth this much to Apple. The Mac business is worth this much to Apple. The iTunes store is worth this much to Apple.
And after you break it on down, do you love Apple?
I do like Apple. It's at the same time on a broader scenario. It is interesting that tech as a whole, public market tech, has been doing much better of late. You saw what Google did, up $60 billion after their quarter. You know, they beat Apple's $46 billion bid. You know, that's about a couple of greases.
Or a Hewlett-Packard or two.
Yeah, you know, and that beat Apple's one-day run of $46 billion not too long ago. And so tech valuations are, on the public side, are starting to move up a little bit, but slightly closing with the gap on the private tech valuations, which is the place that I spend a lot of time on. And that's very, very important, because when people talk about a bubble, one of the arguments for the folks that this is not a bubble is that large cap, high quality tech valuations were not inflated. Now they're slowly starting to catch up. But coming back to Apple, sorry.
Sure, yes. Sure.
I'm very excited about the core momentum in iPhone, in the core product. The iPad has been slow and steady. There's a potential upgrade on a 12-inch iPad there with a lot of enterprise opportunities there potentially. And the big operating system upgrades are going to be additional legs on the story.
All right, then everything we're referencing is about consumer product innovation. Is IBM ever going to get its groove back?
Well, there was some optimism, right, in terms of IBM and Apple doing a joint venture on the enterprise side, if you recall, not too long ago.
Has that ship just sailed?
No, I mean, look, IBM is enterprise. It used to be enterprise used to lead in an innovation versus consumer, and that has flipped over the last 10 or 15 years. And what we're seeing is there's a lot of very interesting technologies that are being commercialized. Cloud has been the latest bubble. There's a lot of things coming in terms of on top of the cloud, and IBM is one of the strongest companies on a long-term basis to benefit from what we call the consumerization of the enterprise, or enterprise unplugged. And so long-term, I'm optimistic on IBM. Short-term, they've got execution challenges. These things, again, don't go on a quarterly cycle.